Unveiling Shadows, the Criminology of Intimate Bonds. In the tapestry of human life, the freedom to make choices stands as a pillar of individuality and self-determination. Among these choices, selecting a life partner is perhaps one of the most significant, with far-reaching implications for personal happiness and societal harmony. Yet, not all are afforded the luxury of this choice. For many, partner selection is a path strewn with the shackles of societal expectations, cultural norms, and familial obligations, leading to unions formed not out of mutual affection, but of compulsion and conformity. This series, Unveiling Shadows, the Criminology of Intimate Bonds, seeks to illuminate the dark corners of constrained partner choice and its ripple effects across life's social and psychological domains. Join me on this journey with Episode 1, Chains of Choice, where I shall unravel the criminological impact of limited autonomy in partner selection and the silent cries for freedom that echo within the walls of imposed unions. Section 1. The Criminological Perspective. The criminological lens reveals the stark consequences of constrained autonomy in partner selection. Stripped of their right to choose, individuals often find the foundation of their marital relationships fraught with imbalance and discontent. This section delves into critical points: marital discord and domestic issues, prevalence and patterns. Let us explore the prevalence of domestic issues in marriages lacking autonomy, identifying patterns observed by criminologists. For instance, the escalation from verbal disagreements to physical altercations can often be traced back to a fundamental mismatch in expectations and desires, exacerbated by the absence of a voluntary union. Certain risk factors such as economic stress, cultural stigmas against divorce, and the absence of support systems increase the likelihood of domestic issues. I delve into how these factors interplay with the lack of partner choice to create a criminogenic environment. Statistical correlations. Data-driven insights, presenting data from various studies, provides a clearer picture of the correlation between forced marriages and domestic violence. This includes statistics on the incidence of domestic disputes, the severity of violence, and the frequency of calls to helplines or police in regions where partner autonomy is limited. Comparative analysis. I compare these statistics with those from societies where partner choice is more respected, highlighting stark differences in domestic harmony. Case studies. Personal narratives. Through anonymized case studies, I give a voice to the silent sufferers of imposed marriages. These narratives illustrate personal struggles and legal battles faced by individuals, providing a human context to the numbers. Criminological analysis. Each case study is analyzed through a criminological lens, discussing the psychological impact on the victim, the perpetrator's mindset, and the societal response. Socioeconomic factors. Intersectionality. I examine how socioeconomic status intersects with limited partner choice to compound the risk of criminal behavior within marriages. For example, lower socioeconomic status often limits access to legal and social support, trapping individuals in cycles of abuse. Policy implications. The discussion extends to how policy changes can address these socioeconomic disparities, potentially reducing criminogenic pressures on marriages. Psychological profiles. Behavioral analysis. I profile typical behaviors and psychological traits of individuals who enforce or submit to forced marriages, drawing on theories such as social learning theory and strain theory. Preventive strategies. Understanding these profiles, I discuss preventive strategies targeting the root causes of such behaviors, aiming to reduce the incidence of forced marriages and their associated criminal outcomes. Lure of crime for love. Many young men recount tales of resorting to cybercrime to meet their partner's extravagant demands. They speak of a world where worth is measured by financial prowess, where love is commodified, and affection is transactional. The societal narrative equating a man's value with his wealth has led many astray, seeking illicit avenues to gain acceptance and love. Intimidation and inferiority. For some, the journey into crime begins with intimidation, emotional coercion by potential partners demanding material proof of love. Others are driven by an inferiority complex, believing they must engage in petty or major crimes to be deemed worthy of attention and respect. Economic pressures and relationship dynamics. The economic downturn exacerbates these issues, with many women placing high financial expectations on their partners early in the relationship. This puts undue pressure on young men to acquire wealth by any means necessary, often leading them down the path of illegality. Peer pressure and familial expectations. Peer pressure and familial expectations compound the problem, with young men feeling the need to publicly showcase their success. This often results in a vicious cycle where the pursuit of a relationship based on materialistic standards leads to a life of crime. The consequences of choices. The choices made under these pressures have far-reaching consequences. Relationships built on the shaky foundation of financial expectations rather than genuine connections are prone to instability and dissatisfaction. If such relationships progress to marriage, the individuals involved may struggle to cope, as the initial reasons for union, wealth, and status are not sustainable grounds for a lifelong partnership. Final thoughts. Delving deeper into the criminological aspects of relationship pressures, I acknowledge the complex interplay of societal norms, economic challenges, and personal aspirations. Within this intricate framework, young adults make choices, sometimes detrimental, not only to their well-being but also to the fabric of society. The chain of choices is long and intertwined, each link forged by the hands of expectation, desire, and circumstance. In the intricate mosaic of human society, the influences that shape our choices and partner selection are as varied as they are powerful. From the traditions passed down through generations to the modern pressures of social media, these societal forces play a pivotal role in guiding the course of relationships. Cultural and religious expectations. Tradition against autonomy. I delve into the tug-of-war between long-standing cultural and religious traditions and the individual's desire for autonomy. How do these expectations shape the choices available to individuals, and what happens when personal desires clash with traditional norms? Arranged marriages. While arranged marriages are a respected tradition in many cultures, I examine the spectrum of consent within these practices. From fully consensual arrangements to those where coercion is a subtle but damaging force. Family dynamics and societal pressure. Familial influence. The role of family in partner selection cannot be overstated. I explore how parental expectations and the desire for familial approval can lead individuals to make choices that align with family wishes rather than personal happiness. Social status and suitable matches. The pursuit of a partner often goes beyond personal compatibility to include considerations of social status, economic stability, and suitability as defined by societal standards. The impact of media and peer groups. Media portrayals. The media's portrayal of relationships and ideal partners can significantly influence individual expectations and desires. I discuss how these portrayals can create unrealistic standards that individuals feel pressured to meet. Peer influence. Peer groups play a crucial role in shaping attitudes towards relationships. I analyze how the fear of judgment, or the desire to fit in, can pressure individuals into conforming to the group's expectations in their choice of partner. Legal and social frameworks. Laws and rights. I consider the legal frameworks that either support or undermine an individual's right to choose their partner. How do laws around the world differ in protecting or restricting this choice? Advocacy and change. The work of advocates and activists in challenging restrictive societal norms is highlighted. I discuss the progress made and the journey ahead in ensuring that every individual has the freedom to choose their partner without undue influence. The way forward, I reflect on the need for a balance between respecting cultural and familial traditions and upholding the individual's right to choose. I advocate for continued dialogue, education, and legal reform to empower individuals in their most personal of choices, selecting a partner with whom to share their life. Psychological implications. The journey of partner selection is not merely a social ritual but a profoundly psychological experience that shapes our emotional landscape. When the autonomy to choose is constrained, the psychological implications can be profound, affecting individuals' mental and emotional well-being and extending into the intimate realms of their lives. Emotional distress and mental health. The burden of imposed choices, the emotional turmoil that individuals face when their right to choose a partner is compromised, can lead to feelings of entrapment and hopelessness. The psychological strain of living within an imposed union can manifest in various mental health issues, including depression, anxiety, and stress-related disorders. Identity and self-expression. Loss of self. Being denied the right to choose can affect one's sense of identity and self-worth. The conflict between cultural identity and personal identity, particularly in societies where cultural norms heavily influence partner selection, can lead to a profound impact on self-esteem and the ability to form authentic connections. Coping mechanisms and resilience. Strategies for coping. Despite the challenges, many individuals develop coping mechanisms to navigate their circumstances. These strategies include seeking support from friends, engaging in personal hobbies, or finding solace in community groups. Building resilience. The psychological concept of resilience is crucial for individuals to foster in order to better cope with the pressures of constrained partner choice. Intimacy and satisfaction. Unmet needs. The lack of physical and emotional satisfaction within a marriage can lead to loneliness, rejection, and inadequacy. In the face of such dissatisfaction, some individuals turn to alternative solutions, such as the use of sex toys or seeking emotional connections outside the marriage. Extramarital affairs. Seeking affection elsewhere, the decision to engage in extramarital affairs can stem from the psychological need for affection, validation, and sexual fulfillment. These affairs may start secretly and in some cases become open as individuals seek the pleasure and connection they feel is missing at home. The role of communication. Addressing the taboo, open communication about sexual needs is often taboo in many cultures, leading to a cycle of silence and frustration. Candid discussions between partners are essential to address and potentially resolve issues of sexual dissatisfaction.